The NFL's mini camps are done, the training camps open next month. So now is as good a time as any to review the off-season developments that will have an impact on the regular season and beyond. Game-changing QB market, members of the league's premier position group got paid at record-setting clips. But two deals stand out in particular: Matt Ryan's record 5-year, $150 million pact with the Falcons and Kirk Cousins' 3-year, $84 million agreement with the Vikings, the first fully guaranteed multi-year contract in league history. Cousins' structure could be a desirable model for many stars in the coming years. At the same time, Ryan's contract likely won't last long as the league's richest. Up next, two-time MVP Aaron Rodgers. New Cleveland Browns general manager John Dorsey has directed an aggressive offseason, which included the acquisition and extension of wide receiver Jarvis Landry and trades for quarterback Tyrod Taylor and defensive back Demarius Randall, Tony DeJack. The Associated Press, Cleveland's aggressive makeover. The Browns held our attention in 2017, but only because it's hard to look away from an 0-16 train wreck. But new general manager John Dorsey has directed an aggressive offseason, which included the acquisition and extension of wide receiver Jarvis Landry and trades for quarterback Tyrod Taylor and defensive back Demarius Randall. In the draft, they landed players they hope to be future cornerstones in Baker Mayfield, #1 overall, and cornerback Denzel Ward, No. 4. The Browns appear to have the pieces in place to improve, a must for Hugh Jackson after going 1-31 in the last two seasons. NFC West shakeup. On the heels of the Rams' division-winning campaign, general manager Les Snead remained aggressive by adding a cadre of stars in cornerbacks Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib, wide receiver Brandon Cooks, and also defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. The 49ers also look to be on the rise after signing Jimmy Garoppolo to a long-term deal and adding cornerback Richard Sherman. The Seahawks, meanwhile, find themselves in a rebuild with Sherman, Michael Bennett, Cliff Avril and Jimmy Graham all gone. Pete Carroll's crew will have to embrace changes the team tries to capitalize on Russell Wilson's prime years. Patriots Super Bowl hangover. Cracks started to surface last season amid reports of friction between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and questions about the Patriot way have persisted in the months following the Super Bowl loss to the Eagles. From the outside, it certainly appears as though Belichick doesn't have his usual air of infallibility. Brady, however, insists that things are fine between him and his coach. Will training camp and the regular season bring a return to normalcy? Article continued below. Holdout Club. This will go down as the off-season of the holdout. Unhappy over their contracts, 6 high-profile players skipped mandatory mini-camps, risking fines of nearly $90,000 each. The list features Rams defensive lineman Aaron Donald, Raiders pass rusher Khalil Mack, Falcons wideout Julio Jones, Seahawks safety Earl Thomas, Titans tackle Taylor Lewin and Cardinals running back David Johnson. Some of them, most notably Donald and Mack, seem to have better chances than others of winning these standoffs. But players like Jones, who have multiple years left on their contracts, might have to cave. More anthem drama. NFL owners reignited the debate about protests during the national anthem by approving a policy requiring players to either stand or remain in the locker room during the playing of the song. Teams with violators face the risk of a fine by the league. But division remains as the league will let individual teams set their own policies. And the rule did nothing to quiet U.S. President Trump, who has not relented in his criticism of players. All of this continues to distract from the true mission of the players, creating awareness and effecting change in their communities. As Eagles safety Malcolm Jenkins put it, "You aren't listening." He and his peers will continue their efforts by working with law enforcement agencies, at-risk youth, lawmakers and more. But a bigger battle on the anthem policy itself is likely ahead. Rehabbing quarterbacks. The 2017 season proved unkind to a number of high-profile players around the league, including quarterbacks Deshaun Watson, Texans, torn anterior cruciate ligament, Carson Wentz, Eagles, torn ACL, and Andrew Luck, Colts, shoulder injury. The Eagles have the luxury of a quality backup in Nick Foles, but Houston and Indianapolis are different teams without their franchise passers. Watson and Wentz are both aiming for Week 1 returns, and took part in limited teamwork this offseason. Luck, meanwhile, didn't start throwing publicly until last week. QB controversies on tap. Two of the most intriguing quarterback succession situations happen to reside in the AFC North. Ravens and Steelers both have proven starters in Joe Flacco and Ben Roethlisberger, but they used early-round selections on their potential replacements, Lamar Jackson, 1st round, and Mason Rudolph, 3rd round. These moves could create for some friction and signal the end of eras in the long term. Meanwhile, the Bills have no clear-cut answer among first-rounder Josh Allen, A.J. McCarron and Nathan Peterman. And the Jets have a three-way race with rookie Sam Darnold, Josh McCown and Teddy Bridgewater. Order restored in New York. The Giants have long stood as one of the most stable franchises in the league. But Big Blue's 2017 campaign were rife with infighting and turmoil, with a breaking point coming at Eli Manning's benching. New coach Pat Shurmur and general manager David Gettleman addressed that issue by not only backing Manning, but also bolstering his support by giving him Nate Solder to protect his blind side and rookie running back Saquon Barkley to aid the run game. Meanwhile, Odell Beckham Jr. has opted against holding out despite making it known that he wants to be paid like one of the top players in the league. Suddenly, stability appears to have returned. Unsigned free agents. The peak of free agency has come and gone, but there are still proven veterans on the market. Des Bryant, Adrian Peterson, Jonathan Hankins, Kenny Vaccaro and Bashaud Breeland are all still searching for a landing spot. Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid are also available, but both have filed collusion grievances against the NFL.